It is true. The Trump bump continues with huge November gains for all of the equity markets. I think record gains for a single month, but I'd have to go back and double check that. But you know what? You ain't seen nothing yet. Tesla is up huge this morning on version 13 releases, the videos associated with those releases, and also from two interesting upgrades. I struggle to see Tesla really getting to all-time highs. A lot of people are predicting all-time highs by the end of the year. You know, I've been predicting all-time high by the end of January into February, but I still continue to believe it'll take those earnings reports and or some kind of a catalyst between now and then. And there's many, many catalysts like the Juniper, like the version 2.5 carbs. There's many things that could happen between now and then that could definitely get us to that all-time high. So we'll see what happens, but that's kind of where I am right now. Again, nobody, not a single person, nobody that I know of would have predicted we'd be at 355 at this point. So let's count our blessings with regard to that. This is from Bruce this morning at Tesla Bags. He says, this is still only 3/4 completed. They should have one. Oh, this is talking about the cluster down in Texas. It's only 3/4 completed. He's an employee, I guess, Tesla Bags. He says should have 100K H100s installed by the end of December. FSD improvement is going to be wild next month, he says. There you go. Tesla Economics says, for your information, Tesla FSD version 13, which is rolling out to customers right now, is the first truly new version of FSD to use the Cortex we just talked about supercomputer training cluster in Giga Texas. This is going to use 5 times the training compute scaling with this version. So there is some of the background why this is happening at such a level. Again, Tesla massively ahead in regard to compute. There's nobody that comes close. Barron's on Sunday, Stifel analyst Stephen Gengaro raised his Tesla stock price to $411 from $287. He kept his buy rating. Of course, that would be above all-time high. We believe, he says, Tesla shares require vision and patience and the willingness to accept volatility. That would be maybe the truest words ever spoken. He isn't wrong. Tesla stock is notoriously volatile. Coming into Monday's trading, shares were up 37% since the November 5 election, accounting for almost all of the year-to-date gains. The move is despite no change in 2025 earnings estimates. Investors are banking on CEO Elon Musk's closeness to President-elect Donald Trump benefiting the EV maker. One way it could is the federal standards with regard to, full self-driving and robotaxis. While we have, quote, while we have confidence in Tesla's auto business, the significant value creation potential from its AI-based full self-driving capabilities and cybercab underpin our positive outlook, added Gengaro. Well, that was a very good, analysis. So how about this one, though? One of the lowest rated and the most mocked analysts of the Tesla community. Well, he's not really considered to the community. But anyway, he just did this. This is from Steven Spencer. He goes by SS Spencer _SMB. He says, longtime Tesla bear Craig Irwin just raised his Tesla target from $85 a share to $380. He says, capitulation? Well, here are the details from investing.com. On Monday, Roth MKM changed its stance on Tesla, upgrading the electric maker from neutral to buy. The firm also set a new price target of $380. The upgrade was driven by a combination of factors, including a growing enthusiasm for electric vehicles in the United States and favorable regulatory environment. The analyst pointed out that Tesla's brand has likely grown in popularity due to Elon Musk's public support for President Trump, which may have expanded the company's base of enthusiasts. Wow. Craig Irwin's finally been listening to this program. So I want to say something this morning. It occurred to me that you have this, they talk about the Apple ecosystem, but this is bigger than the Apple ecosystem, however you pronounce that word. Anyway, you have got 6 companies out there, okay? You have people that love rockets and love everything about space and all that kind of stuff. They're fans in this area, but it causes them to be fans of Elon, therefore things that Elon does elsewhere. Then you've got putting a chip in a brain and causing people to be able to move their limbs again. I mean, what Neuralink is going to do, who knows? You've got Elon with X.com, which he has 200 million followers on X, in addition to which just the general whole thing about X and all of the publicity that's come out of that. Then you've got his relationship with President Trump, which basically could have never happened without the Twitter. It goes on and on and on. So you've got this massive ways of causing Tesla to be in the public eye all of the time, which can't but help overall the Tesla brand story. I'm thinking the Tesla brand probably soon may be the #1 most recognizable brand in the world. The growing popularity has translated into strong financial performance, with Tesla generating $97.15 billion in revenue over the last 12 months. Tesla is also poised, and it'll be over $100 billion for the year. Tesla's also poised to benefit from what the analysts described as an accommodative regulatory environment, particularly with the cyber taxi initiative. So he recognized that also. The firm's main artificial intelligence mission revolves around artificial assistance systems, which is designed to function as a co-pilot, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, humanoid robotics program. I mean, listen to Craig. He's not dumb. Anticipated catalysts in the EV market and Tesla's strategic position are expected to drive the company's valuation upward. The analyst comments underscore a belief in the tangible changes within the industry and the world at large, prompting the upgrade to a buy rating. The new price target reflects confidence, and confidence. It's like going from no confidence to confidence in Tesla's potential growth in the coming period. Investing Pro analysis shows Tesla's impressive 93.82 price return over the past 6 months, though it currently trades at a high PE ratio of 85.25. For deeper insights into Tesla's valuation, Meanwhile, one of the highest rated analysts on Wall Street, that was one of the lowest rated, one of the highest rated analysts on Wall Street posted this today. Dan Ives said, more on the street are starting to listen to the autonomous paradigm changer for Tesla under a Trump White House in 2025. Good news with version 13 now here. And this from AJ today. Tesla's version 13.2 FSD cannot be understated. This is by far the most significant step forward and was expected by extrapolating from both one, Tesla's access to more than 3 times compute, and exponentially growing miles driven on FSD. Regarding #2, FSD miles driven grow much, much faster than the FSD fleet since existing FSD users started using FSD significantly more. The last point is not fully appreciated with regard to how it affects FSD progress. And then also regarding #1, which was that they have more compute. Compared to the beginning of 2024, Tesla currently has more than 3 times the total trading compute. And as we just mentioned above, it's only going to grow another big percentage in the month of December. From Herbert Ong this morning, he says, news, Elon Musk's lands priority for NVIDIA GB200 Blackwell deliveries in January with a 1.08 billion purchase. Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company, 𝐑𝐚𝐬�AI, has made headlines with its urgent push for advanced AI hardware. Industry sources indicate that Musk directly got together with NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, and he offered him a premium to expedite a 1.08 billion order. These will be manufactured by NVIDIA's key partner, Foxconn. From Sawyer Merritt, news, higher adoption of fully electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids led to record drop. Come on, plug-in hybrids had, anyway, a record drop in new vehicle emissions in the U.S. in 2023. Okay, and then in general, in the EV market, NIO, XPeng, and Li all set records in November, in addition to outstanding results from BYD. They were over 500,000 vehicles again in November, as they were in October. The rest of the China companies, not so much. We have a new Patreon member over the weekend, actually a returning Patreon member. Manny G has joined, and he sent me all kinds of information about how to play options. Anyway, my options trade right now, you know how I like to do it, like those leaps, and they're doing very well, thank you. Anyway, please hit like, subscribe, notify. Regular programming today, it'll be Larry Goldberg and then Brian White in the evening about 7:45. That new time slot is working out like so much better than the old time slot. Okay, that's all. Oh yeah, buy Cybertruck bottle openers. Cybertruck bottle opener, Cybertruck bottle opener. Got to say it over. You know what? You need one of the 5 of those, 10 of those for your friends. Okay, from Forex this morning, lots of good news with regard to the economy as well. Because why? Because we've had a change of power, because there's a lot of enthusiasm in the manufacturing, in all industry, based on the change of power in DC. And so the optimism alone is going to increase activity. All right. S&P final U.S. manufacturing PMI came out as expected at 4.8 versus 4.5 last month. There's a very nice bump from the preliminary number and likely reflects post-election optimism. I would add upside risks to ISM manufacturing from the 47.5 consensus, which follows at 46.5 prior. So there was you get that? It was 46.5. It moved up to 47.5 and now 48.5. Chris Williamson, chief business economist at S&P Global Market Intelligence, says, quote, the mood among U.S. manufacturers brightened in November, though any feel-good factor has yet to feed through to higher output on the factory floor. Optimism about the year ahead has improved to a level not beaten in 2.5 years. Get that? Not seen in 2.5 years, buoyed by the lifting of uncertainty seen in the lead up to the election, as well as the prospect for stronger economic growth, greater protectionism against foreign competition under the new Trump administration. In contrast, current production levels fell for a 4th straight month in November, dropping at a rate not succeeded for nearly 1.5 years. The gap between expected future output and actual current output is now the widest seen for a decade, if the pandemic is even included, underscoring the marked divergence between tough current conditions and mounting expectations of better times to come. Maybe because regulatory stuff will be pulled back and it'll open up the opportunity for people to do very well. Demand conditions need to improve with the improvement in confidence in order to encourage producers to raise production. However, although export sales continue to fall, we note that November's fall in overall orders was the smallest seen in the past 5 months, hinting that the downturn in domestic demand for goods is easing and could help revive the manufacturing sector in 2025. The promise of protectionism has meanwhile led to an increase in input buying for some U.S. producers as they seek to front run the price hikes on imports from threatened tariffs. 1 in 4 companies reported higher input purchases in November because they're trying to front run those potential tariffs. Business confidence in the United States increased, as said, to 48.4 points in November from 46.5 in October. Business confidence in the United States averaging 52.87 points from 1948 to 2024. So we've got a ways to go to get back to that number. All-time high was 77.5 points. All right, this is from Breaking the News, and it's also breaking news. The U.S. Census Bureau, the U.S. Census Bureau revealed in a report on Monday that construction spending in the United States amounted to $2.17 trillion in September. That is up 0.4% from the previous month's revised figure. Year over year, the number jumped 5% construction spending. Now, you know, that includes a lot of government infrastructure spending. Construction spending stood at $1.8 trillion during the first 10 months of 2024, surging 7.2 compared to the same time frame in 2023. Private construction led the growth, interestingly, with a 0.7% monthly increase. Residential construction surged 1.5 to 934 billion, offsetting a slight dip in non-residential spending. Besides, public construction declined by 0.5% to 497.6, and both educational and highway projects seeing marginal decreases. Well, there was, of course, a big increase in the third quarter last year, which continued over to the fourth quarter, so maybe that's what we're seeing. All right, that is the news of the day. Let's see how the stocks are being impacted this morning. We will start, of course, with Tesla. We've got Tesla this morning is now all-time, I think it's at the high for the day. No, not quite. It's up $11.27. The high for the day was 358.78. We're now at 356.44. So we're about $2 under the high for the day. So maybe, and it is tending upwards. So we could go above that. There's a kind of some resistance at the 365 level. We'll see maybe if but this is, by the way, breaking through the recent highs, which would give us some indication that we might see a close, or, that would be a good thing if we saw a close in this range, even if it doesn't go any higher today. All right, the rest of the market, the Dow this morning is down, is now flattening to starting maybe up a little bit, down 180, but the NASDAQ, meanwhile, going the opposite direction and is pretty much straight up at $176 points. S&P 500 is up 10.56, and all of the Magnificent Seven are up. You can imagine that because the NASDAQ's so strong. Across the board, Meta with the strongest, besides Tesla, at $13.20. Then we've got the Cathie Woods are mixed. I mean, really mixed, completely mixed. No consensus and direction, although Square is up $5. That's a pretty big jump for Square. ARK, of course, both ARKs are up nicely because why? Oh, because Tesla's up and Square's up. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the percentages. You've got the Dow down 0.4, NASDAQ up 0.92, S&P 500 up 0.16, and Tesla up 3.29. Yep, right about where it was. Okay, let's go ahead and look at, we've got, I must have made another one of those mistakes this morning of the 252 versus 352, but Herbert Ong was just pointing out, and I saw a note going by. Anyway, it's so easy to do. We've been saying 200. It's hard to get that 300 in your head. All right, let's go ahead to the 10-year. It's up 4.2. Kind of, you would expect it. I don't like it. I'd like to see the bonds yields going down, but with this kind of good news out there, it's back up to 4.32. The 2-year is up 4.5 also basis points at 4.219, and that 1 month is down actually a little bit, 0.7 of a basis point at 4.617. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the oil. Oil barely up 18 cents, $68.16 in Texas. Pretty normal, 71.98 in 70, call it 72 for Brent. Natural gas down 3.27 at $3.25. You've got gold down 11 at 2,669. It has been very, very much in a narrow range recently after so much volatility previously. Silver is down 0.54% at $30.94, also staying very closely range-bound. Copper down 0.28, similar, for $4.12, very much in a range. The dollar is like near its highs, not changing a lot. We've got Bitcoin down 374 this morning at 96,662. Similar, once again, kind of sticking in that 95 to 99 range right now. Not a lot of movement outside that range. Okay, so those are the numbers across the board of what's going on right now. Let me remind you again that later this morning, later around 4:30 7:30, maybe a little earlier, California time, Larry Goldberg, and then around 7:45, Brian White. I'm sure that they will have many, many, many interesting takes on what has happened over the weekend after a $12 increase on Friday to see another $11 increase on Monday. Lots of interesting stuff to talk about. And then you want to get your Cybertruck now. Remember, everything about this Cybertruck bottle opener makes sense to you. It's something you can use if you want to get one for yourself. You can use it on your boat. We know you have one. You can use it on your small plane. We know you have one of those too. You can take it to your mountain cabin. I mean, if you don't have all those things yet, a couple of years from now, you're going to have all those things, right? After we see the rest of this increase up to $1,200, $1,500, $2,500 a share, we'll all have boats and mountain cabins and airplanes. So you're going to need Cybertruck bottle openers at each one of those locations. You need to have it everywhere. And all of your friends are going to want them too, especially the other ones who you've convinced to buy Tesla stock. And they might need more than one. So come on, guys. It's $25 for one, $45 for two. You know what to do. You send the money to paypal.me/Randy Kirk. And remember to say camouflage our regular stainless steel. And then you could do as we had, I think it was that, I'm going to forget his name here. Let me go back. We want to give credit where credit is due. Oh, see, it's so hard to find these things. Oh boy, am I going to find it here? I'm not going to find it. Anyway, we had a Patreon member join this morning. Here we go. Manny G. Thank you, Manny G, for coming back and reminding people that it's a really good idea to help support the channel. That's all. You want to go back one last time and take a look at what happened with Tesla? Okay, let's take one last look. 1142, pretty much the same. All right. It's been great talking to you.